what it takes, but you better own it. Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Everybody wanna win, everybody can't do. I'm zoned. Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? But you better own it. Everybody wanna win, but do you got what it takes? Everybody wanna win.
Welcome to the Coach Stretch Show.
What up, what up, what up? It's your man, Coach Stretch. And we back, baby. We back. Statman, AJT, the official co-host of the Coach Stretch Show. We have an exciting show tonight. Very exciting show tonight. Special guest, Shanda Bailey will be on. We have a P. Diddy trial update. Cassie took the stand. Things went left. We have a brand new fraud alert segment, and we also have a new dating segment entitled Dating with Intentions. So we're gonna have a whole lot of fun, man. We got a whole lot to discuss, a whole lot to go over. We'd like to welcome in our viewing audience on Facebook and YouTube. Stats, do you have any shout outs? What up, Coach Crosby? Appreciate you tuning in. What up, Mama?
Oh, Mama Johnson up here.
She look.
Hey, Mama Johnson. God, Bree, Mom, you, Damo, Brotherhood Hoop League. We're gonna talk about that a little bit.
Yep.
Relentless, Neptunes. Peace and love to everybody, man. That's just what it is. Peace and love to everybody.
Absolutely, man. Big shout out to the family, the friends, Brotherhood Hoop League. Big shout out to my wife putting up with my mess. Shout out to all my kids. Big appreciation to everybody that's down with me on Team Relentless out here, Relentless Sports. Big shout out to the Virginia Neptunes who are sponsoring a whole lot of this that we're doing right now. So big shout out to them. They have a new, we got a new slogan, a new motto that's getting ready to hit the streets, and we're going to start our buzz early this summer so that everybody in the Hampton Roads knows and understands that we are the only professional basketball team in this area. So we're just trying to gain exposure, make sure everybody knows what the Neptunes is all about, and we got to put some fingerprints on the community. So be on the lookout for a whole lot of Neptune news and coming your way. But before we go any further, we have a very, very special guest, multi-time Coach of the Year. What up, Lee? The head coach of the very prestigious Hampton High School girls basketball program, several-time state champion, several-time Coach of the Year, several-time everything, Miss Shanda Bailey.
Hey, y'all. Thank you for having me again. This is probably like my 50th time.
Listen. I told you was going to be up here a whole lot, man. Look, but we got a whole lot to cover, especially with you. We're going to talk a whole lot about AAU and what it looks like, and we're going to talk about a lot of the recruiting or lack thereof that's going on right now in this area, man, and what it takes to be recruited for these kids, especially on the girls' side of things. Like, it's rough out here right now. So people need to be informed. They have to be made aware of what's going on. So, Stats, you got any questions and greetings before we get started with these questions?
Hey, Coach, thank you for taking the time to come on. Excuse me. Looking forward to having your energy and your presence. I guess that's the best way to put it. Up here. So I'm looking forward to a great show.
Thank you. Me too.
Absolutely. What up, Nick? I appreciate you, boss. Baby.
What up, Nick?
So, Coach, let's jump right into this thing, man. Let's talk about the AAU world. And for those who don't know, can you give them a little background of what you do in as far as the AAU world is concerned? Like, what is your role, and what you got going on as far as the AAU is concerned?
Okay. Well, I coach for Boo Williams, the 17U EYBL team. That's our elite youth basketball league, and it's a Nike team, so it's the highest level of AAU that we have in the U.S. Um, I run the offense for the girls team, and day to day stuff. Help run practice, do a lot of scouting. Um, we're getting ready to take off tomorrow morning, actually, and go to Alabama for our
Ooh.
Nike session.
Right.
So looking forward to that. Different style of teams. We played a lot of teams from Virginia, Maryland area, New Jersey. Alabama this past first session in April.
Yep.
This next session we play teams like All Iowa Attack, which is where Caitlin Clark played. So, that's a different style of basketball. Those girls move that ball, and they're playing ponytails. We playing
Yeah.
them, so
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question for you. As you said, this is the highest level of amateur, high school sports. I mean, high school basketball for girls. What does it take to be on a EYBL traveling shoe team as opposed to, the other grassroots organization?
Well, I'm gonna say this: we see there's a lot of young talent,
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of young talent. So, we just finished up middle school basketball. We're doing future league now, and when you walk in the gym, every team has at least one or two kids that are standout kids.
Right.
And it's interesting because we've been seeing this for year after year after year after year. I think I'm in year 7 or 8. So you see a lot of them that are standout kids when they're young, and then 3-4 years down the line they kind of fizzle.
Mm.
So what I've learned, what separates them is what they do outside of practice.
Mm.
Habits, how committed they are, how determined they are, and in all actuality too, the type of coach you have, what you're doing, during your high school season. What are you learning? That kind of stuff definitely plays a part. You can have all the talent in the world and you get out to a practice and you don't know where the midline is.
Ooh.
We're gonna be done real quick. So it's kind of, and it's sad to see it in girl sports because the talent is it's there, but it's not being developed somewhat. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Stash, you got something before I go with another one?
Yeah. So, how does coaching AAU help you prepare for coaching the Hampton Crabbers, or if it helps you?
It does because these are the girls on our 17U team. These are the best of the best of the best kids. So you have to coach at a higher level. They're faster. Most times they have a higher IQ. That's just most times. Sometimes they don't. They're just very very talented. Um, we had a kid last year who would get on a bike with her dad and she biked 20 miles. She played basketball every day, so these kids and the one thing that I'm noticing about a lot of the kids that we have on our teams, their dads are their coaches when they're younger. A whole lot of them, their parents are in the gym with them at a young age. They have a trainer that's working with them on a regular basis. So you have to come with it. You have to study the game. You really have to understand how the girls play. You have to do a lot of research on kids that are ranked. How do they play? How do they play in certain parts of the country? So it makes you step your game up because you see a whole lot more on this level than you would see, just with the PD teams.
You said something. You had a young lady that biked 20 miles,
Yeah.
and I had this conversation a lot with parents and kids in general. Like, you're not doing the necessary work to be where you think you are. You're
Yeah.
not doing that type of work. And people ask me all the time, man, why we don't have enough kids from this area on the boo teams. And I always say this: we're not good enough. We're not good enough. And it's because we're not doing the necessary work to separate ourselves from everybody else, So when you get a kid that's coming in from DC or Tennessee or North Carolina, wherever they're coming from, they're better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Just it is what it is. They're better than you because you're not putting in the extra work. How many kids are getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym? How many kids are living in the weight room? How many kids are, like you just said, biking 20 miles or whatever it is? That extra work. I mean, we're missing it here in the Hampton Roads area, unfortunately. And then we're surrounded by these people who think they're trainers, people who think they're good coaches, and they're actually doing more harm than good
Yep.
to these kids.
Well, let me say this. We do have, I mean, I can name 5 like really, really top kids here.
Right.
You know, definitely. And yeah, Ojo here.
Right.
He's the best of the best.
Right. She just got a South
Lauren,
Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah, she did.
Yeah.
There's a kid named Lauren that plays for Catholic. I mean, she can
Yeah,
flat
she's really good.
play. Yeah, Lauren is, so the talent is here. It just sometimes we just don't have enough talent to make full teams.
Correct.
Not a full 15, 16, and 17 team. We don't have enough talent to make full teams, but we do have, bits and pieces where, there are good 4 or 5 kids that can play in our 17U team. There are good 4 kids that can play in our 16, 15s and 8th grade teams and 7th grade teams.
Right.
We have them here. But at the same time, they still have to be totally committed to the sport, playing well, working on their game, making improvements, film. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to be good. And especially with this portal, it's going to take a lot to go to school. It's not like when I graduated and, I was good and, coach was recruiting high school kids.
Right.
They're not doing that any longer. They're going to the portal to look for kids. So you have to do something to really separate yourself and stand out. So.
I wanted to piggyback off of that a little bit and ask you, like, so you touched on recruiting. How difficult is it right now to get a kid recruited to a Division I program?
And again, that depends. If you play for Boo Williams 17U, we usually have 100% recruitment rate. I've never coached on a team with Boo where a girl didn't get a scholarship offer.
Okay.
You play in 17U, you're going to have an offer. You can go to school and play. But maybe not so much if you play for some of these other teams. It all depends. It all depends. But it is difficult. I got a basketball scholarship from a coach coming to watch my high school game. That's almost unheard of now.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I do have coaches that still will come to my games. It just depends on, who I'm playing. They might come out once or twice a year now.
I'm glad you said that. College coaches, like, out here in the Peninsula District, unfortunately, it's only 1 or 2 marquee matchups.
Yeah, they're only coming to me play Mitchfield. They might come watch me play Kellum if I have like a out of conference game, out of district game. That's good.
Right.
But the regular games in the PD, they're not coming to watch me.
They're not coming.
Many of those games.
So now, hold up, Stats. Before you, how do we change that? Because it used to be, Tuesday and Friday, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll walk in the gym, you'll see a coach from everywhere.
Absolutely.
How do we get back to that? Or can we even get back to that? Like, how do we get back to that?
For sure. It just depends, as a head coach, how much work you're willing to do and what you're willing to do for your community. We have 2 coaches that are coaching middle school basketball in the city. We're trying to revitalize Lindsay's middle school team. The girls, Lindsay is our feeder school. So we used to get majority of our kids from Lindsay. I went to Lindsay. Like, my whole high school basketball team when I went to Hampton came from Lindsay. This year we had 1 kid that played JV for us. And she was probably like my 8th person, off the bench. But we have to get into the middle schools. You have to. You have to recruit your city. You have to be willing to develop kids. And not steal kids, but develop kids.
Mm, mm,
Um, you know,
mm-mm,
if you want the game
mm-mm.
to get better, you have to be willing to go in and teach them how to play. You know, take some bumps, take some hits while you work to get the kids better.
Great point right there, Coach Starks. And we gotta get Coach Starks on up here one of these days.
The
Stats.
legend.
Coaches have to be more diligent in promoting their kids. They will come.
Absolutely. Like recruit your area. Like go and find kids. I mean, I went to Lindsay Middle School and I walked through the school and any kid that looked like they were halfway athletic, that were tall, you know, I didn't care.
Right.
Come out. Hey, come play, come play. You know, and half of them like, oh, I don't want to. Just a different
Right.
kid. You know,
Right.
they don't like it. I'm like, look, I guarantee you, you know, you'll like it. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, unfortunately, you have to coach the kids differently. Um,
Mm.
Initially, I told the principal that I was going to coach the middle school girls, but I told him I wouldn't be a good fit. You know, I'm definitely committed to overseeing the program. I'm definitely committed to making sure the kids are learning the sport and can play. But I had some of my assistant coaches, and Katie, she coached. Super proud of her. They just needed
Katie
somebody.
Jen.
Yeah, Katie did. She did a great job. You know, I'm proud of her. She came from Lindsay, came and
Right.
gave back to Lindsay, and that's what we teach at Hampton High School. Go and give back. You can't take
Right.
it with you. Give your gift away. So, you know, we're there in the school, but you can't do old school coaching with these kids.
Mm.
It just does not work. You know, we could yell at us, we can run all day. Some practices we didn't even touch a basketball. You can't
Come
do
on
that
now.
with these.
Come
Not
on
until
now.
they love it.
Terrorists.
You gotta make them love it first. They gotta fall in love with it. Then you can,
Yeah.
Terrorists.
yeah, then you can turn into a dragon. But at first you gotta be like, oh, come on, you got it. Keep going. Yeah. So, you know. I mean, it's a reality that the kids just they're not used to that toughness. They don't, you know, of course, they don't play outside anymore. So you first have to make them love exercising and running because they don't
Oh.
do it.
Ooh.
Hmm.
It's not fun to
Ooh.
them. So you know.
Go ahead, Stats.
So first of all, shout out to Lindsay Middle School. That's what my mom taught for like 40 plus years.
All right.
Yeah, so shout out to Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you look for specifically in a kid? Do you have, because I'm a big archetype person, Stretch will tell you, I see certain archetypes of players and I just kind of like, okay, this person can help me win. So like us win, excuse me. So what type of players does Shonda Bailey look for, whether she's recruiting for AAU or for Hampton High?
I like athletes. Of course, you know, everybody wants that kid that can put the ball in the basket, but when I went out to watch middle school basketball, there were so many girls that were just athletic. I
Right.
mean, if you listen, if you can run and you can make a layup, I can
Come
teach
on now.
you. You can play for me.
Come on, man.
You can definitely play for me. And then, you know, if I can't get that superb athlete, I mean, you could be skilled. Can you shoot the ball? You know, I can, you know, run you off a screen and get you open. You know, it's all kinds of stuff. I just look for, and I look for kids too that love it. You know, sometimes you get a kid that just likes it, you know, and
Right.
when they like it, that means it's Saturday morning practice and I have something to do.
Right.
And my kids can tell you that, I mean, you're not allowed to miss practice. You know, like every blue moon, I'm making concession. You know, somebody has to get their hair done for homecoming, or you know, it's Christmas, or yeah, okay, we make concessions, but I don't have the type of practices or the type of team that you can miss. You know, or you're not coming today and you show up tomorrow. You know, you're quickly removed from the group chat. We're committed. You know, we want to win. We're a team. We're gonna rely on each other. And if you're part of the team, you gotta be down with what we're doing. So you
Yeah.
look for kids that are committed, that like being a part of a team. Um, you know, that a girl's girl. They want to help their teammates win. You know, we don't have time for, you know, meanness, and you know, we don't.
Uh-oh. Shonda Bailey got that boo-boo wireless internet. Shout out to Cox.
Yeah, listen, You know, Cox always mess up. I'm
I got a
surprised.
phone call coming through, so I just
Oh,
okay.
you know,
Yeah,
probably really important.
I don't
We
know how
thought
to
you
turn
had that
that
boo
off.
boo.
Wait, I need to turn off my calls.
Thought you
But
had that boo boo wireless internet.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So okay, so here's my next question for you. How do you know? Because you know Hampton High School came up a little short this year. How do
Yes.
you keep kids committed during the off season? Because it's not a there aren't a whole lot of AAU programs in this area, unfortunately, that are
Mm-hmm.
focused on development. You got the Boo, you know, the EYBL stuff. I want to say we got Team Push over there somewhere in Norfolk or wherever they're at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you got the Dream Chasers in Williamsburg, and then I bought back my AAU program this year, Team Relentless. But other than that, that's it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's it. And you know, kids. So how do you keep kids pushing ahead and getting better when there aren't many options to that they can grow and you know get good basketball at? Like how do you keep them going towards their goal?
Well, I can say for my team, every single kid on my varsity program is playing AAU, or I had two that elected not to play, and
Mhm.
they
I got one
train.
coming on Friday.
Okay, okay. Well, they're training,
Yeah,
you
she is
know, but
training still, but
yeah,
she's coming on Friday. Yeah,
okay, they're training. Train. You
yeah,
have to listen. They already know that first day back is going to be so crucial. You really don't
mm,
want to get out of shape if you play
right,
for me. You
right.
you really don't want to do that. And then I will tell you this. I'll scream it to the mountaintops. I think I have like the best staff ever. After our season ended, we were off for maybe 4 days. We're right back in Lindsay and we're training those kids. James is right back in the gym. We have an upcoming freshman next year. Mark my words, this girl is going to be a monster lover. She's an
Yeah,
eighth grader, post player. Candace, I mean, James has been working with her. And if you can just see where she ended the JV season and what she looks like now,
right.
I mean, I'm super excited. Um, so you don't get many options. You definitely can. And I'm sorry, I have one other player that's I have a couple of players that are doing track and basketball. So
Right.
AAU and track. But then I have one player that just does track. So and we even talked about making a requirement next year. If you're not doing basketball, you have to run track. I mean, that's just what it is.
That's what it used to be, like
Yeah.
way back in the day. Like that's what it
Yeah,
used to be.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what they did. Yep.
Yeah,
For you to have a good program, you can't have kids that want to take months off. They want to stop in March and not come back until, we start back up in, May or June. It just, you can't survive that way.
yeah. Sash, you got another question?
No, I just think the requirements, it seems like, to be better today are more than it used to be, because there's so many avenues and so many people that can see the prize now. We have more access to basketball. We have more leagues to play in, men's and women's, and
Hmm.
more ways to get money. So it seems like when you try to get better back then, you could take that time off, and now you can't, because now you're behind everybody else. You mentioned the biking 20 miles, like that may sound excessive, but somebody somewhere is already doing that. They've been
Yeah,
on it. Now they elevating somebody else. So it just seems like it's harder to stay ahead of the curve these days. So just encourage all the kids. Obviously, you need your body to rest, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. That's how
Yeah.
that's
you.
work.
And that kid that I'm talking about, she wasn't even playing any EYBL basketball. We were in our first session, and Boo used to have his invitational tournament at the same time that we had our EYBL. And we
Yeah.
saw her playing, and she was just really fast and really athletic. And we like, hey, come over here and play. Man, this kid goes from playing. I want to say she was playing for Loaded, but don't quote me on that. But I think she was playing for Loaded. Team isn't doing well. She comes over to us. She's playing 2 summers. The girl is ranked top 100. No lie.
Woo.
She went to
Ooh.
IMG this year. Now she's going to Pitt. I mean, like, just
Yeah,
from Richmond, Virginia, like you
yeah,
just, but she works hard. She works. I've never seen her get tired. When I
right.
say never, never seen her get tired. Never.
People don't really put much credit into how much being in shape means.
Absolutely. You can't play this game and you can't play this game and not be in shape. You just cannot do it. It messes with your insecurities. You can't
Yeah.
keep up on defense. And now, if you can't defend, I mean, hey,
Mm. You can't defend, you can't play.
can't play. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't defend, you can't play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Oh man. Okay. Well, any words of advice to anybody, to the kids that's out there that's watching, or any of your fellow, colleagues, like coaches that's trying to get it together? What any words of advice to
yeah,
them?
just put in the work, put in the work. Be patient. Um, when we took over Hampton's program, I think they had won 6 games a year before.
Right.
So it takes some time to kind of, you know, get your style put in place, have the kids want to buy into what it is that you're doing. And it takes some time to get those kids that, were on the losing streak or lazy streak or
Yeah.
whatever. Sometimes you gotta wait for them to kind of get out and, trying to change the culture. But, I just encourage every coach to do the best that they can in spite of, I want to see our district get back to competitive games every night, because when
Yeah.
we played, it was a basketball game every single night. People look at certain teams and think, you're blowing teams out, but it's no fun. It's not
Right.
fun. Our kids need to get better. We want your kids to get better. We want the district to get better. We want competitive games. We want everybody to have to play. It makes coaches sharper. It makes me sharper as a coach.
Yeah.
When you go through a district and, you know, you don't have to coach games, and then you come into a game, you're like, all right, let me go back into what it is that I need to do, because there's certain
Yeah.
scenarios you haven't seen all season because you haven't had to face it. So, iron sharpens iron. We want everybody to be the best that they can be in the district, and that's very sincere. So,
That's real.
mhm.
That's real. Speaking of real, let's go ahead and jump into our P. Diddy trial
Oh
update.
my gosh, what's going on?
Speaking of real. So look, for those who don't know, P. Diddy is currently incarcerated, and he is currently standing trial for a
Mhm.
whole lot of stuff. And I guess the main witness, the star witness of the case, Miss Cassie Ventura, she took the stand. She's been on the stand now for 2 days in a row now. And so
Mm.
we got this clip from TMZ, who actually had the transcription, because they're not allowed cameras and stuff in there. Yeah. So they got the transcription of what was going on. So we're going to play a little bit of this, and then we're going to get some reaction, and then we're going to move on to Fraud Alert,
All
Stat's
right.
favorite segment.
Cassie said on the stand that Diddy would threaten to release videos of the freak-off with her in it, various freak-offs, she said. That's extortion. And what the prosecution needs to prove is force or coercion. And there is no doubt, I think, in any jury's mind, that if you say to somebody, I'm going to release video of you in a freak off, that's extortion, except what it requires is this: unless you do something or unless you don't do something. She has not closed that loop yet. I'm going to read this actually from a transcript of the hearing. We have a transcript. So here's what it says. Prosecutor, do you recall all of the freak-offs? Cassie, that would be impossible. Prosecutor, did you want to stop? She says, yes. I was humiliated. I didn't have those words then. I couldn't talk to anybody about it. Prosecutor, did you tell him you didn't want to? She says, yes. And then she says, I brought it up gently. I didn't want him to just do it with someone else. Were you able to express your concerns to him? And the defense objects. The prosecutor rephrases the question. Why would you talk to him gently? She says, I didn't want him to be angry. Prosecutor, did you want to be urinated on? It came out with the sex worker who testified earlier that he would urinate at Diddy's direction on Cassie. So during the freak-offs. So, prosecutor, did you want to be urinated on? Defense, objection. And they get into the objection. The judge overrules it. And she says, no, I did not want it. Prosecutor, how did it feel? Cassie, it was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it. Prosecutor, why were you choking? Cassie, too much urine in my mouth. Prosecutor, who else urinated on you? Cassie, Sean. Did you want Sean to urinate on you? Cassie, I didn't want anyone to urinate on me. Prosecutor, how often did it happen? Answer, often enough.
Talk to her about the freak offs. And
Yeah.
Listen. Shanda, we'll go ahead and let you have the floor first. Like,
Okay, so I've seen a lot of comments about, it just depends on, whose
Yeah.
side you're on, but, people that are saying, well, why didn't she just, tell them no or tell them stop or, whatever the comments are, kind of blaming Cassie. Why did she stay? And I'm just gonna say this now. That right there, I'll probably punch you in your eye. You're not doing that. Okay, but I will say that I've been young, and sometimes when you're young, it's hard for you to find your voice. And I think people are sometimes forgetting who they're dealing with. Like, didn't this man blow up somebody's car, and then he shoot somebody in the face, and somebody else took the bullet, and then you're expecting this young, fragile girl, like she was 20 years his junior. You're expecting her to, stick up for herself.
Be the strong person and stand up to him, right?
Yeah, I will tell you this though. Men that are narcissistic know who to pick. You wouldn't, know who to pick. You know who to kind of, you couldn't do that to, certain women you wouldn't be able to have your way like that with. That's all I'm gonna say about it. But it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. What are your thoughts, man?
Something really stood out to me. Urinating on someone is insane. So let's start there. And having a mouthful enough of it to choke is deplorable. We all have fetishes. Some are more gross than others, but that's a few country miles too far.
Right.
There.
That's way over there.
We way in the weeds. But something that he said was interesting to me. Did he say that he didn't want her to do it to anybody else?
She didn't want him to do it to anybody else. Like, she didn't want him to basically get somebody else to do these things with.
That's why she didn't abruptly.
But was that because of fear of him or another victim, or was it because of she was jealous because he was urinating on somebody else and not her? That's the thing that really I was confused about, because
a lot of it, so I had to chop it down a lot because it was a very, very long video.
Okay.
So what they're saying is that he would. She says she has recorded over like almost 1,000 songs, and he would use that as leverage against her. So in essence, what she's saying is the reason why she never, she didn't want him to go get nobody else is, hey, you got all these songs that I've recorded, and I want them, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's holding that against her. Like, if you don't do these things, no one to release these videos, which is going to kill your career. And then I'm not going to release your songs, which is also going to kill your career.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of stuck in that. I think that's what the prosecution is going for. Like, you basically held her without
Right.
held her
Right.
without against her will,
Right.
without forceful. Is basically like you used your mind and your power and your influence
Right.
over this young lady. And if they could prove that,
He
P.
done.
Diddy ain't gonna never see the light of day again.
He's done. He's done.
But I thought that wasn't what he's in there for. Not necessarily what he did to Cassie, but more so the racketeering charges and that kind of stuff, right? So I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm not really
and that's another thing. Like it's kind of hard to understand what he's exactly on trial for.
racketeering.
Well, we know it wasn't the elevator incident.
Right,
No,
it's not that.
racketeering, and I
It
think
wasn't that.
prostitution ring. Like this was like a prostitution, and then I don't know if interstate commerce was part of, but he's bringing people across.
So that was
Fine.
addressed a couple days ago. So they were actually getting these male escorts off of Craigslist and either flying them out to where they were from, different locations like LA, New York, DC, wherever they were at. And that's where you get the prostitution and interstate commerce and all that other stuff from. And
So
yeah,
I have okay. So one of the charges is actually sex trafficking.
yeah.
So if you're flying people in for entertainment, they're considering that sex trafficking.
Well, if you flying people in for sex and for these freak offs,
And
then
you're paying them,
and you're paying them,
and drugging
Okay.
them.
yeah, and drugging them, yeah.
Well, right, obviously, but I didn't see drugging in any of that. Man, I'm not saying that it's not there, but yeah, it says it's facing charges of racketeering, like you said, Shanda, and sex trafficking for alleged crimes that took place over 2 decades. I assume that drugging someone would be a separate crime. I assume so.
I don't know. It's supposedly anywhere between 5 and 7 victims that are supposed to take the stand against him during this trial, and this is victim number 1 with Cassie.
Yeah, one of them was also transportation to engage in prostitution.
Correct.
So that was another one, and control them via mental. I'm reading from NPR. Control them via physical and emotional abuse. Paid them and others to keep quiet, and there it is. And supplied alleged victims with a host of drugs to keep them compliant. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Now I have a question because I've seen this. I just want to get you guys' opinion on it. How do we think this compares to Hugh Hefner? Like,
I knew that was coming.
Well,
Really?
I have several theories on this, and stats will tell you I'm more of a conspiracy theorist.
I hate it. You start sending me that conspiracy theory stuff. I do not disturb.
To me, look, a lot of it makes sense, and you know what I'm saying. Look, I'm big on following the money. I'm big on 1 + 1 definitely still equals 2 in our universe. So, the reason they didn't mess with Hugh Hefner is because Hugh Hefner didn't mess with them. P. Diddy was trying to get his money for this liquor stuff. He also was always been trying to do his own thing in the music industry, and they allowed him a certain lane to reside in. But when he started messing with that liquor money, that's when everything kind of went to the left for him.
Gotcha.
And
what? Okay.
Because you don't do this type of stuff without people knowing it, especially people like this, like the FBI and people in high places. You don't do this type of stuff for 2 decades without people knowing you. Just like the Epstein Island and all that stuff. Like people knew. You had freaking presidents there. Like what you talking about? You didn't know.
They actually dropped the list, or like a few. Yeah, they dropped the list, and it was
Did we believe that list? Do you believe any part of it? I don't know.
No, I mean, I believe some of it, but I believe a lot of the people who really matter up there were redacted. So we're not going to ever truly know who was there.
Right.
To your question, Shanda, are we ignoring the obvious difference between P. Diddy and Hugh Hefner? Or are we going to touch on that? I'm just asking, because if we're going to touch on it, let's touch on it. If not, I'll slide by it. So if we're going to slide by it, then Playboy was an institution, right? And Playboy was celebrated with the models, and obviously Hugh Hefner was doing his thing in there, but I don't recall. Now, I obviously don't follow Playboy Mansion, but were there any cases or any type of noise around Hugh Hefner doing that?
We don't know, but the thing to me is, if there were, they hushed them up real fast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he had underage girls there, like staying with him. Like, what we talking about? Him.
And out in LA, I'm sure there was some coke or something.
Come on, man. Like, what we talking about?
I'm just saying.
And same thing with the R. Kelly stuff, man. Look, we get so, blindsided by some of this stuff, man. These people do this stuff all the time, man. And it's only when people that, trying to go after, quote unquote, their money, that's when things start to go left. They had no problem with R. Kelly until he started trying to go after his masters. When he went after his masters, you going to jail. Now you can't get your masters. I'm gonna bankrupt you. Same thing here, and not saying that he did or did not do these things. Because if he did do these things, then yes, he needs to be in jail. But he should have been in jail a long time ago.
Yeah,
these people knew this stuff. Like, this stuff ain't new.
Yeah, it kind of, they have all these rumors surrounding him and Kim Porter. Like, why wasn't that investigated? If they believe that's what he did, like, who was protecting?
Quite a few people have said that he is responsible for her unfortunate and untimely demise.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm sorry. Thank you,
Same thing with Big. Yeah, same thing with Big. Allegedly. Like.
So it just,
this the life, But
I guess
I hope the victims get justice. I hope the victims get justice, and if he is innocent of just being just a freak, man, let that man go, man. Because people just freaks, man, sometimes. But if he held somebody without, without their permission or drugging them and doing all this other stuff, then he need to rot in jail. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, waterboarding somebody with your urine is crazy.
Is insane. That's come on, man. Like,
but it was a whole nother segment. I ain't gonna get into it, but a whole nother segment where at the end of this stuff, that he wanted the escorts rubbed on his chest.
My God.
Yeah. Yep.
And I don't think there was any word that you could have said that would have. No, there was no word that you could have said. So I'm glad you didn't even try to insert a word, because that's.
I hope young people are paying attention, because they're desensitized to a whole lot of stuff, but this is something that, like, come on, no, it's too much.
I agree. I agree. All right, let's move on to one. Whew, my goodness. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and jump into our dating segment real quick, and then we'll do the fraud alert at the end. If that's okay with you and Coach Bailey. Let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Dating with intentions.
Here we go.
All right. Now, a lot of people who are, in their 30s, 40s, what have you, are struggling with this topic right here. All over social media. Like, they're just flat out struggling with this topic. So, Shanda, what does dating with intention look like to you?
Well, I think first you have to define what your intention is. Like, what is your intention? It's really hard to see men that have pure intentions sometimes. We're living in an age of social media where you can see anything and be anybody you want to be, and people are so used to sending you a message via your inbox or what have you.
Right.
So when a man approaches you, sometimes they really don't know what to say. But dating with intention, you know, if you have good intentions, to me that looks like you're taking a woman on a date. Like, do men
Mm.
that? Do you know how to do that? Like, do you know where to go? Do you not?
Let's okay. So let's take a step back because you're a woman of notoriety and prestige, and you know you're a somebody that somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like Shonda Bailey is walking outside on in the PTC. People know who Shonda Bailey is. How do men? How can a man approach a woman such as yourself and get her attention? Because what I've been seeing on social media is men approach women and women just they're not even interested off the rip. And it has nothing to do with how they look. It's just they're not saying maybe the right things or you know again we're in the age of social media. Everybody wants to type
Absolutely.
instead of speaking. So how do we even start this process of getting to know and date a woman that got her stuff together? Because that's what it is. We can talk to the women who ain't got their stuff together. I'm trying to, I'm working on my curse. We could talk to them all day long. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't even matter what I say to you. Either you down or you ain't down. But a woman that got herself together, we got to approach you the right way. How can men approach women who got themselves together? Like let's start there.
Well, first we have to be the right kind of man because
Okay.
I don't know. Now we're living in a age and time. It's sad, but we're living in an age and time where you know men feel like, and I'm a pick for men say that they're the prize,
Oh
Oh.
God.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah,
and
we got to. Yeah, come on,
Oh.
man.
Oh.
Come
okay,
on, man. Come on, man.
the prize, and they don't want to spend any money.
Mm.
See, see? Hey, come on, Shonda. We got
And I have to be listen. I have
Come
to
on, hey Steph, get her. Steph.
be honest.
Shonda. We got to stop this, Shonda. Shonda, we got to stop
Do
this.
not date a woman like me if you don't want to spend the money. And wait, and I don't mean that like in bad terms. I mean like, okay, first date. What are we gonna do? And like you could be creative, okay, but eventually I want something to eat.
Right, right,
Eventually go to a game.
right.
I want to go to a movie and I want some popcorn.
I know that's right.
Eventually, but
Popcorn is good.
just
Popcorn is good.
it just
Popcorn is
is
very
not.
delicious.
It is
I'm
not.
going to the movies just for the popcorn at the
Look
end.
at
Yeah, for
somebody
sure.
laughing. He be the main one I know out here acting crazy. Listen, you can't if you don't want to spend money, then you have to stick to the type of girl that you know
Yeah.
has no requirements. Because
Oh, okay.
and you
Yeah.
have to pick me up and put some gas in your car and take me somewhere where you can't sag your pants
Mm.
I,
Okay.
and no, you're not coming over here, and I'm not coming over there. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like date with intention. Like if you really want to get to know me, you're not gonna get to know me by being in my inbox every other day and saying when I'm gonna see you. Please leave me alone.
Mm.
Now I'm gonna wait for you to finish because you said some things that ain't that.
And I'm done. That's all right.
Yeah. First of all, I wanna go back to men don't really reach out to women anymore because y'all post it on social media and embarrass us if it's somebody you don't like. So
Who
so yeah, that's what some women do, and men have decided we don't want to deal with all the headache. We're not trying to deal with that. If I come at you, hold
you
on,
done that?
hold on, what you say?
See how he makes stuff up. Do you know a woman who has done that? Have you seen a woman that
Yes, yes.
me and say this man was in my inbox?
I have a few on
Oh,
my.
I know. I've
Date
seen
me.
it on social
Now,
media.
I have a
not
few on
trying to
my.
date me. He probably said something vulgar, inappropriate, and she put them on blast, but not trying to date me. Like, no, women aren't like.
If it's like the flirting and harassment meme. If it's somebody who you don't like, it's going up, it's going in the group chat. Look at this N-word here. But if it's somebody like, it's okay. And I understand that to a certain degree. But like, why not just keep that private? Like, we men, good men, also see that. And it's just like, we're not trying to deal with that. That's a hassle. That's a headache. In addition, the whole thing with the men is the prize thing. You and I have had this conversation. I'm not going to rehash it up here, but
Rehash it for a stretch so he can hear how y'all.
Yeah. Let fill me in, bro.
They the prize, Stretch. Men are the prize.
So Sean and I have had this discussion, and I'll say I think it triggers you because I don't think you feel like men should think highly of themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like you think that men should just kind of be there, and I'm not gonna say dote on you because we've had conversations and I understand it. I'm just saying, Shanda, just because a man feels like he's the prize, that doesn't mean that he can't think that the woman is the prize too. But I think what happens a lot of the times is men have now come to some type of awareness that, hey, we ain't got to always chase y'all. We bring stuff to the table too. We ain't got to deal with a lot of the stuff that
chase y'all in,
that we ain't got to deal with a lot of the stuff that we used to deal with women. If y'all aren't
like what do you have to deal with no more? Like what?
Like,
what do men now feel like they don't have to deal with?
I got a list. So I'd be happy to tell you.
D prize means one. V is one. You didn't say A prize, you said D prize. But go ahead. So
I feel like when you say that you're being overly pedantic and literal, but that's fine. I get it. That's how you feel.
Y'all ain't no prize. Lord.
We don't have to deal with the emotional stuff. No. It's one thing to be emotional. Everybody has emotions, right? But how you express those emotions matter. You can't just come and you can't just say anything to me in any kind of way. I ain't gonna argue with you. I'm gonna go about my business. I ain't got to deal. I don't have to deal with that. Another thing is, and I'm glad that you have high expectations. Like I really do, and I think you should. But I also think sometimes we block our blessings with our expectations too high.
We preaching now. What's that? We preaching now.
We just got to like. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So really quickly,
get them.
You're not gonna deal with a woman's emotions.
That's not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said was having emotions is okay.
No, I don't want the explanation. You said we don't have to deal with everything from a woman. And when I asked what things you have to deal with, you said a woman's emotions.
No, and I clarified by saying how they express the emotions. That's the if you want to say
how by how, because you said being emotional, and I said women are emotional.
And I said after that, it's okay to be emotional. We all have emotions, but you can't just. Men deserve respect too. So if you're having a bad day, or if I did something that maybe I don't even know that I did wrong, why don't you come to me and explain? Hey, babe, like I don't like how you did this. Let's see if we can work on this to make this better because this is how this makes me feel.
Okay, let me right there, and let me stop you right there. Okay, so certain personalities can get a woman to cut it. All right, so for example, okay, so I mean that's no surprise. I could be bossy. I can come home and say, hey, do this. Or whatever, I could be emotional. I might cry 1 minute, be fussing the next, happy. I mean, I'm an emotional person. But a certain type of guy could tell me, hey, you need to watch it. And I'd be like, oh, okay, let me be quiet. That's it.
What type of guy is that?
A strong personality. Has to be a strong personality. Or I will tell you this: somebody who I know is not gonna go back. Like, I'm not going back and forth with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like, when I start and you stop immediately, like you're not even listening to anything that I have to say. You
right.
don't want to hear it. You cut it off. Okay, then I know there is no fussing, and I don't fuss purposely. It's just sometimes. I mean, you might have done something that may cause me to do that, or may invoke that type of emotion where I'm fussing.
Now,
But
may I ask you a question?
mhm,
When did we do that? Did we do that right away, or did you wait till 2 days later to tell us?
it depends.
But don't you think?
More than likely with me, because I know I could be a fusser. I may not say anything at first. I might be like, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna wait, and then I may say something. I may let it go totally. I may say,
Okay. So then, what triggers it bringing back out? Does he do the behavior again, or is it because you had a bad day and now things are compounded?
either or.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
you never know.
Okay. I was just wondering. Another thing too, um, and I don't want to misrepresent, because again, we had a talk at Hampton, and you said if a man tells you his emotions, essentially, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that I interpret it is, I'm not trying to hear that, more or less. Like we're not supposed to express how we feel, and it's not just you. It's symptomatic of what I see sometimes on social media. Men don't feel comfortable being vulnerable with women because y'all look at us as less as a man if we're open and vulnerable,
Mm,
like with how we feel. So like if a man has a bad day, right, and he tells you that he has, and
Let-
he
okay.
and he tells you that he has a bad day, like
Mhm.
okay, one day that's cool, but then if he tells you the next day that you have a bad day, some women are like, you got to suck it up. I'm not trying to hear about this every day.
And right, nobody is trying to hear that every day. Nobody. Like, you're not trying to hear it from me every day that I had a bad day, and I'm not trying to hear from you every day that you had a bad day. Like, sometimes you have to choose happiness. You have to choose to not have a bad
I
day.
agree with that.
You have to choose it. So my personality is more of like, I don't want to hear a man nagging every day. I don't want to hear it. That's not what a man is for to me. I don't want to come in and every day.
Can you tell us what a man is for to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, please.
Men should be the head of the household. That
oh
means
yeah,
Yeah.
that
yeah,
we go as you go. So you can't come in
oh
here
yeah.
on one every day. You can't come in here on one every day. You can't come in here complaining. You can't come in here expressing how I feel this way, and you shouldn't say this. And listen, you're gonna run me crazy. I don't
I
listen.
actually don't disagree with
Yeah,
that right there.
here
Yeah,
and grass. Thank you. And I'm a cook, and let's watch Jeopardy, because I don't want to, like, sometimes I just don't want to hear that. Now every so often, yeah, something that's bothering you. Like, I want to hear if something is bothering my man. I want to hear it, but it can't bother you every day, because now you're the problem. You
mm,
and the way you accept things, the way you deal with things, because every day something is weighing you down. You have to fix that internally. I can't help you with that. That's a problem. That's a you problem. But you can't bring that in a household every single day. Not if you're running a house.
right.
You can't do that.
While
No.
I do agree that
And
people
you can't be the
always
prize. Wait, let me say this. And you can't come in the house telling your woman you the prize. Because you're not supposed to be. No.
you see, no, Shonda, we got to stop. We got no,
The one
no.
that's the prize, she making it a home. I don't want, let me say what, I don't want to date no man that think he the prize. I'm gonna be like, okay, give me somebody who ain't. Yeah, I don't want no
So
prize.
so why so okay, so what's the issue with a man thinking highly of himself? Because that's essentially what he's saying.
No, but listen to how you said it. I'm the prize. That to me is, I don't know. That's a little. Okay,
Go
so
ahead, say it. Say it.
No,
okay,
please.
let me just say this. So as I think a lot of times too, how we grew up makes a difference. All right, so I grew up in a house with a military father. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. You know, he grew up in projects. My dad would never walk around here saying he the prize. He came home every day after working hard, cut the grass, he smoked him a cigar, and he had a shot of whiskey. My dad ain't calling himself the prize. He don't talk like that. So for me, I don't want to hear a man telling me that he's the prize looking at me. I'm like, what? I need somebody a little more.
Okay, so I don't think men should out loud say that
Right.
they're the prize. I think
Right?
it's
That's
more
no,
of an action.
that's
You know what I'm saying? Like it's more of an action. Like I'm going to upgrade us. I'm going to take us to another level higher. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes a woman can do that as well.
Yep.
But you know, to me, I don't have to say it. I'm just going to do it. You know what I'm saying?
highly of yourself without calling yourself a prize. That
Right,
just
right.
kind of what? Uh,
But it just seems like that word because I made a post one day and you came on my post and you not me, I ain't gonna say you lit me up, but you lit the post up and you don't really comment a lot. And I was like, all right, this is unusual. This triggered her, at least from my perspective, because I was just like, all right, bro, like to me, it's not that serious, right? But it was just like, why does this bother you so much? Now I understand we're all products of our environment, right?
Stats, did you think she felt that the way that you feel when I post Grand Rising on Facebook?
I'm gonna be honest. It's the way what she said because it was several. It was two paragraphs, two different comments, and they were paragraphs.
because
So
okay, so let's get that. He likes to me. There's a comparison between men and women, and I felt like there was a lot of downing women.
Ah,
And
okay.
I take listen. I am a girl's girl. I take
Yeah,
issue anytime. Y'all already know. Y'all ain't getting
yeah,
up talking about no.
yeah.
I ain't even gonna say her name. But y'all not getting on social media, dogging no black woman, and
Right.
think that I'm gonna like the post.
oh my god,
I'm not having it.
Shonda.
Don't.
Okay,
Hey,
Shonda.
look, I picked on those up on those vibes early. You know when the
Shonda.
whole Angel Reese stuff was jumping off. Don't
Shonda.
matter. Shonda Bailey
Shonda.
coming in that joint.
Shonda.
Only race
Shonda.
that does that. We the only race. Then you get up there. Women need it. Men. Women think that men's supposed to do this, and we the prize. What? What? What are we talking about? Like this is why dating with intention is hard because a woman expects a man to treat her a certain way, and a
Agreed.
man wants these new age men. Give me somebody old school because these
I
new
feel you
age
on that.
men want not all of them. That was a joke, but
Yeah, no, old school values, old school
and I
mentality.
men want to be catered to and all that stuff. But when you come over here, boy, cut that grass and
I think men
take the
need to
trash.
be I think men need to get back to being like men, like real men, like you said, cutting the grass, taking pride in their lawn, taking pride in how the house is
Yeah,
running. And women need to get back to respecting men and treating men like the head of the household, so on and so forth. Like, you know, it
I'm
But
gives me it gives me fuel. I go out and I cut the grass. You know what I'm saying? My wife come home and say, babe, the grass looks great. Here, what you want to eat? Like that gives me fuel to keep
I'm with you on
pushing on
that.
that.
I'm entirely with you on that. Men should be men. I'm 1,000% with you on that. I also think now that I'm trying to word this correctly. It's gonna sound bad.
Oh boy.
I
Oh
don't want
boy.
it to sound bad. I
Oh,
don't.
it's
say
going to
I want to
sound
hear
bad.
it. What is it?
I don't want it to sound bad.
This is going
Say
to be bad.
It probably is. So Shauna, please forgive me because I'm not trying to be
get on you. What is it?
all right. There's a faction of women who feel like they are equal to men, and I don't have a problem with a woman thinking that, right? I don't in certain ways, but I feel like women who feel that way, they also they want to be seen as equal to men, but they don't want to do what men do to get that.
Equal to men in what way?
Not from a physiological, biological way, but from anything besides that a man can. And some of that, I've had conversations with women about basketball, and because we had the discussion, and it's like it seems like it's a disservice to women when a man says that a woman can't play with a man.
What up, bro?
That kind of thing. And that too, he put it a bit more succinctly than I did. I'm a bit verbose, but that.
What's that?
Women want old school men, but don't want to be old school themselves.
I don't see that. Where do you see that? What women do you know that don't want it? What are we talking old school? Like
you was just talking about how your mother was a nice lady, by the way. She was very nice, always very nice to me, for real. The come home and the cook, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? That kind of, the man does the work, cuts the grass, got the glass of water waiting for him, all that kind of thing. But I feel like, man, women have your own careers. Like, you're a legendary coach. Like, you always on the go. You're not gonna always have the energy to do that. And a man should understand that. I would think a man should understand, like, I'm dating Shanda Bailey. She's coaching, she's doing all these things.
So social roles have changed a lot.
A lot.
Especially in this country, women make a lot more money than men do.
I was about to say that we paying bills now, so
yeah,
right.
And that kind of takes away from that old school mindset, the old school kind of dynamic and setup.
Because the women don't have to look at the women don't have to look at the men for income anymore and that kind of thing. Right. Because I do it myself. I'm not saying you don't, Shanda, but I'm not saying you stop. I'm not saying you don't, but you don't need a man to do the things that you do yourself. Like, you provide for yourself, you take care of yourself, you do your own thing. Again, you're a great coach.
I think real women, the ones that we're should be going after, even though they can do those things by themselves, they still want a man.
And I agree with that, but that dovetails into my next point, Stretch. I think a lot of times women put on their hard exterior because they look for a man to do that, and they haven't found a man to do that. So the rough exterior is on, and then you come across a man who could do that, but then he has to peel back layers to find that person.
But there's a lot of trauma, man. Like, we talking about people that's in their 30s and 40s, man. A lot of these people got, trauma, man, like real life trauma. Like, they done had their heart broke 2, 3, 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Some of these people are divorced. Some of these people got baby mamas, baby daddies. They still dealing with parental trauma. They still, that they haven't dealt with. Like, that's the part about dating for me that's difficult for today's adult. How do you navigate through the trauma?
You didn't ask me what I look for in a woman.
Oh, go ahead.
Somebody to think you the prize.
No, stop. No, I don't. No. Stretch, you and I have talked about this a lot. So, like, I ain't really saying this to you. First of all,
for in a woman, Stats. Let's tell the Stats. I don't want to get too deep. Are you currently single?
I'm single but not available.
Okay, so single, not available. Okay. Well, Stats. What not available. What when you become available, what type of woman you looking for, Stats? Let's get to the nooks and crannies.
Let's get to it.
Let's dive in.
First of all, you got to love the same God I love.
It's only one God. Hallelujah.
Okay, but everybody don't believe that.
Unfortunately,
to a certain level, you got to get along with my daughter. Like, I come as a package. Bree is the most important person in my life. Like, she has a mother, so you ain't got to be her mother, but you know what I mean? Just be a good influence in her life. you know, you have to be emotionally sound. You got to be. You got to be. Everybody got trauma. Everybody got things going on. But are you willing to discuss it? Are you willing to manage it better? I ain't gonna say change because change sounds bad. But you got to be able to be willing to manage your stuff. It's not my job to deal with your trauma, just like it's not your job to deal with mine. You feel what I'm saying? That's my job. Like communication is very, very important to me. Very, very important to me. Like, you know, we got to be able to talk about stuff. Like, I understand, you know, everybody needs a requisite amount of time to kind of pull away from certain situations and not talk about it right away. But we got to be able to talk and communicate. I miss a whole lot more. We ain't got enough time in the show for that, but those are kind of
Jesus
Your
Christ.
list is too long.
Get a shot at list too long.
Too long.
Too
I mean,
long.
No.
So why? So okay, don't take this the wrong way, but why are my preferences too long?
It's too much.
I mean,
2025. You ain't got that kind of time to have 10 prerequisites.
I mean, I really,
No, you need listen. Find a woman that's gonna love you and treat your daughter right, and have a good day. Like she listen. She gotta do this. She gotta do that. She
I
gotta,
mean,
she gotta. She got. Ain't
now,
any she got is in the world.
now, if a woman said that it's standards, but if a man said it's too much,
No,
so it's just like,
I would say the same thing to a woman.
okay, well,
At the end of the day,
you're
for
different.
a female,
Yeah, you're different, so I understand
fine.
that. But I respect that. Look, I just think, yes, you're right. We're older, and you know, people are gonna come with more trauma as you live. That's why I said,
Fine with somebody, like y'all could be friends and they respect you. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Have a good day. I
Take
like
care.
it.
Day.
it's
Well, what before stats get back on the soapbox, Shanda, we gonna try to get you up out of here on a good note. What will it take for a good date? What does a good first date, first impression look like to you?
I really think it's the person that makes the difference. Like for me, I like men that are like and don't take this literally. I like men that could be a clown. Like, can you make me laugh? Are you funny?
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, listen, 'cause I'm so not serious. Okay, like when I'm serious at work.
Right.
But I like to joke and laugh. Life is too short. I don't got time for you to be serious all the time. Don't come in here being serious and talking serious to me. 'Cause,
What is a first date? Where does it happen for you? Is it
um,
Roof Chris? Were we talking like Chili's? Or are we talking the movies? Were we talking chops? Like, are we going out first date? Like, where is it at?
not a foodie, so it doesn't have to be food. I
Okay,
mean, yeah, I'll be cool going to not Norfolk State because it'd be too many people we know
I feel you. I
state
feel you.
basketball game. But you
Right.
could take me to an ODU basketball game. I can go watch CNU and have a good time. Go to some bar, give me a lemon drop, joke and laugh, and I'm cool for the evening. Like that's cool for me. That's a cool evening. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on me for me to have a good time. Like, you don't have to do that. Now eventually I'm gonna want you to take me somewhere nice.
Nice.
I could just have a good time at any type of sporting event. I'm gonna have a good time at. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a fun time for me.
I hope that women are paying attention that are still watching the show. I hope they're paying attention. As my daughter walks into the office, I hope she's paying attention. You know.
Yeah. Somebody laugh, you have a good time with. Like
Yeah.
as long as the guy is suggesting places to go and not always looking for a female, like tell me where you want to go, make a reservation. Now that kind of stuff, I'm not even. I might block you.
Okay. All right. Stats, you got any?
I'ma block you. Don't come telling me you want to take me out somewhere and then tell me to pick where. Bye.
She wants a man of action.
Right.
I almost cussed. I legit almost cussed.
Pick it. You asking me. Now you want me to do the leg work? You asked me.
I'm
What
with
I
you
like.
on that, Shanda. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
What I like to do.
I'm with you on that. Well, so last question. You got any advice for women out there that's trying to date? You got any advice period for the women that's out there, especially in your profession? What's your advice for women that's in your profession of your status that are still single and trying to, figure some things out? Like, what is your advice to them as far as dating is concerned?
I think there's certain men you should definitely stay away from. Certain types of men you should stay
What
away.
type of men are those?
I'm automatically cautious of a man who speaks negatively about his child's mother, his girlfriends. Yeah, I don't like you. Like
Okay.
automatically, like just for what, okay, you got cussed out by a woman. Oh, whoop to do. Everybody has. There's no need for you.
Whoop-de-doo
Like,
is
come on,
insane.
like what are you?
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, like okay, something you did. I promise you that it's not nobody. No woman you dated was crazy. Okay.
Stop.
All of y'all, every woman y'all already dated is crazy.
Come on,
No,
Shanda.
you are. You're the problem. You are the common denominator.
So Stretch, we the problem, but we can't be the prize. All right.
We the problem.
Right. All right.
I ain't mad at that, man.
Yeah, because men are the head of the household. So you have to be accountable.
I'm with you on that.
I agree on accountability. I agree.
Shanda Bailey, yeah, you are hilarious.
Have a good time. Live life, enjoy it.
I love it. Shanda Bailey, we thank you for coming on tonight, man, spending the evening with us, man. As always, you're more than welcome to come on.
Why is that shaking his head? I'm gonna have to talk to him offline because he needs more coaching.
Get him. I'm gonna help him out. Stats, you got any words for Shanda Bailey, Coach Shanda Bailey, before we get her out of here?
It's always a pleasure.
Shanda Bailey, thank you again, and we will catch you next time.
For real, Shanda, thank you for taking the time. It's always good to talk to you.
You too.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Oh man, Stats, what are your thoughts there, brother?
I got a lot, but like if she really hit me offline, talk some crazy stuff, it's gonna be a problem. Like it's about to be a real problem. I'm telling you that right now. I mean, again, like it's always good. Like she pull up to the Brotherhood Hoop League games, man. It's always good, man. She always support us, and like it's always good. Like again, as you notice, I don't always agree with some of her stances on this stuff, but like you respect different people's opinions and
absolutely
and how they go about it. Because again, we're all a product of our environments, children, adult.
Yep.
So
that was a great segment, man. All right, so we got one last segment before we get out of here, man, and it is our favorite segment brought to you by the Virginia Neptunes. It is Front Alert.
Oh God.
And as you see, we have JJ Redick, the coach of the LA Lakers, and Coach Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics on this week's Fraud Alert. Stats, how you feel about that?
I'm still trying to understand what Joe Mazzulla's up there for, bro. Like,
okay. I got you.
Yeah, I know. I understand the JJ stuff a little bit.
I got you, sir. I got you. Here's why Joe Mazzulla's up there. Okay. Here it is.
Bro, what does that have to do with Joe Mazzulla?
I'm gonna get to it in a second.
All right, go ahead. Because I don't understand. Like,
okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Here's why Joe Mazzulla's on fraud alert. The Boston Celtics missed over 50 threes.
By the way, they won tonight too. I don't know if you saw. They
I did
won.
see.
Oh, you did say, okay, go ahead.
They're playing inspired basketball, despite Joe Mazzulla. Missed over 50 threes.
Yeah.
Okay. His style of play of just chucking up threes put so much pressure on that man, Jason Tatum, who was probably the most disrespected NBA player we've seen in the past 5 years. Put so much pressure on him that he popped his Achilles while having a historic night, by the way, in a loss.
Yeah, I think he had 42.
42.
I think he
was probably going to get 50. He was probably going to get 50.
Yeah, he was cooking.
Okay, but he put all that pressure on that man to do that because you don't know what good basketball is anymore, Joe Mazzulla. You don't know what good basketball is anymore. You don't know when you're up 25 that you don't need to shoot any more freaking threes. You need to drive the freaking basketball to the rim. You don't understand good basketball anymore, Mr. Joe Mazzulla, which is why you're on fraud alert. Okay? And we're going to see how good of a coach you are next year, buddy, with no Jason Tatum. And then the Celtics management got to reconstruct this roster, okay? Ain't going to be no more Al Horford. He's probably going to retire. KP probably going to leave. Somebody got to get traded, either Jaylen Brown or Drew Holiday. Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. And when you win 30 games next year, buddy, they're going to fire you. You're going to get fired.
That's insane.
All because you three or nothing. You want all these threes. That's why he's on fraud alert. Because he got Jason Tatum, who's probably the best American basketball player we have. Popped his Achilles. And now he's going to be out at least a year. At least a year.
I'm actually kind of with you. I'm not on a Joe Mazzulla train like Stretch is. I mean, they shoot a lot of threes, but they just won a chip doing that last year. And
I won't never a fan of this crap.
Maybe not, but it's successful. And we can't deny
success is a stretch. Okay.
Success just won a championship.
I agree he won a championship. I agree they won a championship. But a lot of things had to happen for them to win that championship.
I mean, no, we can't do that, man, because that happens for every championship. Every luck has to happen in every championship ride. There, you can't name one. You can't name one without it. You can't name one chip. But you know what I mean? So,
but that's bad coaching, man. You're up 25. And you proceed to shoot 16 threes?
Were they up 25?
They were up at 25. Game one, they were up 25.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They're up 25.
But you know, as a coach, Stretch, and I'm not saying you wouldn't make any adjustments, right? Because sometimes the game gets
you heard me. We get 3-point happy with the Neptunes. What do I say?
Listen, okay, I'm not saying that you don't say that, but you also know as a head coach, and that's why it's mine, Sterling, and PJ's job. What's up, PJ?
What up, PJ?
Sometimes the game gets away from you, not because you're not paying attention, but you can't focus on every single minute detail while you focusing on the big picture. That's our job. So
I agree.
Here's
why I'm so pissed off at Joe Mazzulla, because us stats, me, you, and PJ were down in Atlanta. We had a similar situation happen to us. Right? We were up 30. 30. And Atlanta did what to us?
Yeah, they brought it down to 7.
7 or 6. It might have been 6.
It was 6. You're right. It was 6.
And what did I do, Stats?
You simplified it. And the funny thing was, so Stretch is fussing at the ref, and our best player, Jaleel Nelson. Shout out to Jaleel Nelson. Hey, coach, what we doing? Hey, we're not changing this. 1-3 pick and roll. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We're not changing anything. We had to go back to, all right, we running our stuff, and then we stopped running our stuff. That was kind of the problem too, because we stopped running offense.
Correct.
But then we was just like, you know what? We have clear mismatches here, and we did simplify. Yes, I agree with that. Now, the only thing I push back on, Stretch,
Okay.
in the NBA, is it easier or harder to do that, especially when you've been coached to play a certain way? Because again, they are always, I mean, NBA teams don't practice a lot, but in order to make it to the NBA, part of that is you have to have a reasonably high IQ. Obviously, some have higher IQs than others, but you feel what I'm saying? Can you go back to that in the NBA? Can you just spam high pick and roll with these quality defenders with this level of defense? Can you do that?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, because listen, we're seeing it in other ways. Like we're seeing it with other teams. Other teams are simplifying things. They just Denver Nuggets got in a pinch in a couple games this series. They got right into their horn set, screen across, get Jokic on the move, and they cleared it out. Jokic make hey, this is how we either gonna win or lose it. Put the ball in my best player's hands, and whatever happens, I'm gonna live with.
Or okay, that makes sense. Or because what they'll do is they'll go to the Jokic Murray 2-man game.
Correct. And that's basically what we did. We went to the Cam Bako, Jaleel Nelson 2-man game. That's it. Everybody else, get flat or get away, one or the other. That's it. And I don't understand why Joe Mazzulla would just sit there and he mismanaged the clock. I want to say that was game 2 or whatever. You got a timeout, and, like you got all these timeouts sitting there, and you don't call none of them. Like that's fraudulent, man. That is fraudulent, and he gonna mess around and get fired for that next year because they're gonna win 30 games.
Honestly, before we move on to JJ Redick, I'm trying to get off that Jaylen Brown contract.
That $60 million ain't gonna age well, Jack.
I'm trying to get off that Jaylen Brown contract.
It ain't gonna age well.
Jason Tatum's gonna come back to a different team.
Yes, way different team. And they better give him some damn respect.
Look, Rick Carlisle has a reputation of being a bit dour, for lack of a better term. But that man can coach his face off.
Man, that's a coaching, man. And he got guys playing way above their talent level. Way above their talent level.
He is an elite tactician out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He knows his X's and O's, and he knows exactly how he wants that ball scored, and he knows exactly the pace he wants to play. Like he leaned all the way into his talent and his roster. We're gonna play fast, we're gonna be aggressive. They're pressing. You don't see a lot of NBA teams press. They are pressing full court, man to man. You know what I'm saying? They don't go 94 feet, but they'll damn sure pick you up at 85.
They get into their stuff very quickly, too. They get into their actions very quickly. But go ahead.
I'm done with him. Joe Mazzulla, fine. And here's another thing. Joe Mazzulla, this is another reason why he's on the fraud alert. Because he won that championship with Ime Udoka.
We're not doing that.
I am doing it. Ime Udoka, listen. That was his championship.
Stop. We're not doing that. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not taking anything away from any coach who builds up a culture because that's very hard. However, Ime Udoka is a bad offensive coach. We saw it with the Rockets. We saw it with the Celtics. In the finals, they had trouble scoring. Now, some of that was the Warriors' defense. Their defense was elite. Draymond, and led by Draymond and Wiggins. But their offense is not overly creative at all. It's not. Yeah. You're not running. You want to focus on, like, Sengun was a Jokic light, and when I mean light. But he was that dribble. He was that elbow.
Sengun is diet Sprite.
Okay, fine. But the point is, his play style was elbow hub, dribble handoff.
Right.
I'm running the offense through him. Now, Udoka turned him into a post-up big. That's why his efficiency tanked. He turned him into a much better defensive player, but there's got to be more balance there. Like that offense isn't good. And some of that is personnel too, but you're not going to get a lot of you. He just doesn't.
A lot of that is Jalen Green wetting the bed.
I'm not a huge fan of Jalen Green, so
he should have been on fraud alert as well.
His shot selection is just oh god. Go ahead.
He should have been on fraud alert as well.
Yeah.
JJ Redick, fraud alert. He's a fraud.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. He got to be the smartest man in the room. And the reporters, and here's the thing. Before they lost, he went up there in the pregame press conference and told the media that Jackson Hayes wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. Then in the first quarter, when you see Rudy Gobert absolutely destroying you, and you need a big out there, because he said Jackson Hayes wasn't going to play, he decides to put in Max Kleber, who hadn't played all year.
Yeah, that's not where you want to get your first minutes since early in the season. That's
what is this, man? That's why his ass on fraud alert. He ain't did no better than Darvin Ham in that scenario.
Here's my issue, and this is why it's hard to it can be hard to separate coaching from front office. The Lakers got Luka, which was a gift, but they still got him. But they rejected the Mark Williams trade, who seemed to be playing just fine in Charlotte. And he's not a great defensive big by any stretch, but he's 7'2" and has long arms. Yeah. So Rudy Gobert, who's one of my favorite players of all time, but who's not what you would is not who you would confuse with Hakeem Olajuwon on offense.
Correct.
Had 27 points and 24 rebounds. Insane. Because your biggest players are 40-year-old LeBron James, who was playing heavy minutes at the center, and 6'8" Rui Hachimura. So the question that I always come back to is, because Jackson Hayes in the first 4 games played 31 minutes. So that's about 8 minutes a game.
It's crazy.
Is that enough? And you can lose playoff games in that amount of time.
I agree.
But is that enough to say that I'm not going to play you?
No, it's not. Because all his minutes came in the freaking first quarter.
My personal adjustment that I would have done, I would have just brought him off the bench.
Thank you. That's it. Just let him go against the second unit, bro.
Go against the second unit.
That's what I said, man. He's a fraud, man. Like, you can't, again, and people always was about how JJ Redick was going against the conventional stuff. Like, he had no coaching experience, man. None. He coached AAU, 4th graders, or whatever he was doing. And I get it. He's a brilliant basketball mind.
Yeah.
But in situations, you need experience. You need somebody, and his assistant coaches ain't worth a damn.
You don't like Nathan Scott?
You let him do this crap. And then when the reporters asked you, he was like, "You think I don't ask my assistants? You think I don't lean on them?" Look, if they signed off on this crap, all on fraud. All of them are fraudulent. All of them.
But we can't leave out that Rob Pelinka didn't get them a center. They don't have any play. I mean, Jackson Hayes is a backup center. That's what Jackson Hayes is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you were going against a big, strong, physical Minnesota team. That's who they are. They're big, strong, and they're physical.
Correct.
Across every position, maybe except Mike Conley.
Right.
So not having a center out there and relying on LeBron and Rui Hachimura to do that, do it in spurts, fine. But do it the whole game. Like, bro, like, you didn't even play him. So you started Rui at center.
Thank you. So, yeah, I'm done with him. Honorable mention is James Harden, another Another playoff porta potty failure for James Harden and Jalen Green. He came out first game 38. He ain't had 38 total points the rest of the damn series. You, sir, are a fraud.
I love James Harden. I can't get beyond this elimination game stuff, man. It's just
insane,
not,
bro.
and it's not, and it's one thing to be like, okay, I have a bad game, but his bad games are it's just like, yo, what?
Yeah.
I have a question before we talk about this.
Go ahead.
What would you have done? I know what I would
What?
have recommended you to do. Talking about JJ Redick, I know what I would have recommended you do, but what would you have actually done?
Jackson got him come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Like he would have been in the second unit.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd have probably played somewhere between 18 and 20 some minutes a game. But you needed that, and his athleticism. Like he's way more athletic than Rudy Gobert. Like, and I'd have gave him simple instructions: rim, run, rim, just outrun him, just literally outrun him. And when you set your screen, set them hard and roll as fast as you can to the basket, bro. Like, don't play around with it. And then they have an issue as well as far as personnel, like because they're selling out to prevent dribble penetration because Luka can't guard anybody. So they're selling out to prevent dribble penetration in the paint, and they're giving up wide open threes. And Minnesota isn't a great shooting team.
They still gave up dribble penetration.
Right, but they still correct. That's what I'm saying. You're selling out to stop dribble penetration, but you're still giving up dribble penetration. And you're giving up shots at the rim because you have no rim protector. You need a big. You need a big.
Daniel Gafford might be available.
At what cost? Because for real, the Dallas Mavericks, Nico looking like a freaking genius out here.
Look at me, king of the segue. Go ahead. King of the segue.
NBA draft lottery, you are on fraud alert. Adam Silver, you're on fraud alert, man. To the left, you see draft, pick, chances, order, you know what I'm saying? Chances of getting the number one pick. I don't see the Dallas Mavericks up there anywhere.
They're not even on that graphic.
Do you see the Dallas Mavericks over there anywhere?
No.
They had less than a 2% chance. I want to say they were a 1 point something chance or whatever. They were basically the last team to get
1.8.
1.8. 1.8. If we look to the right, ladies and gentlemen, who has the number one pick? The freaking Dallas Mavericks. And you tell me the NBA ain't rigged.
I'm not going there. So my question to people who say this, they're ping pong balls. So what mechanism can you construct to rig ping pong balls?
Just put all of them Dallas Mavericks.
Or
when they come out, it can say the Toronto Raptors. Oh, the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay. All right.
Simple to me.
Don't they show the ping pong balls?
I don't know what they do. I think they did a card. They used to show the ping pong balls. Now they do the selection and then the card comes out. Like they pull a card.
Yeah.
They don't even show it no more. That's how I know it's a crock of crap.
But the real question is, do you think Nico knew ahead of time? And I still don't think Nico looks like I don't, but you still don't trade Luka, obviously in the court of public opinion, because the Lakers lost in the first round. Nico's a genius, but y'all just went to the finals.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
But they lost the finals. What Nico was saying is that they lost the finals because Luka was bad on defense, and he said defense wins championships.
I mean, we got.
He's
well,
not
first
wrong.
of all,
he's not wrong.
I mean, look, if defense won championships, the Rockets would be heading to the finals. So offense is more important, especially in this era. Not saying defense doesn't matter
You
because
gotta get stops. Like that's the thing with defense. Like you gotta have a defense good enough to just get timely stops.
right.
That's it.
I mean, Luka was bad on defense in that finals, though. God,
And he was bad this first round.
when I saw Jaden McDaniels have 30, I said, okay, like, all right. And these aren't magnet ball shots where he's making. I mean, these are straight line drives.
Yeah, straight line drives, bro.
You're not making them change direction. You're
Nothing.
not making them tween. You're
Nothing.
not making them spin.
Nothing.
You're not making them do any type of dribble combination.
Nothing. Just catch the ball, right hand, straight to the rim. Left hand, straight to the rim. Yeah. That's your boy.
I love Luka, but that play style got to change. The play style has to change. But
Well,
we're not, yeah. Congratulations to Dallas on getting the #1 overall pick. Cooper Flag, welcome to Dallas, baby.
Welcome to Dallas, baby. I can't wait to get a Cooper Flag jersey.
Stop. Kyrie still has the ACL, but you got AD, PJ,
You're loaded.
Lively.
You're loaded.
Nah, they're definitely not loaded. But
I think so. You got PJ, Marshall, Cooper Flag.
You're gonna trade PJ and probably Lively. You don't need. You don't need.
I wouldn't trade Lively.
I mean, not Lively. I'm sorry. You probably trade Gafford. Yeah. I mean, he is he's overqualified to be a third big in my opinion.
I agree. But what are you going to get for that? You need probably another guard.
Honestly, we all love Kyrie, but Kyrie has never been able to generate championship offense as the primary option.
I agree. So you need a guard. You need a guy. Who you go get? Jaylen Brown?
I almost cussed.
It ain't a whole lot out there. It's not a whole lot out there. So who you gonna go get?
Because I think offense is going to be their biggest issue in health. Point guard.
I mean, for real, the first names that came into my head was LaMelo Ball.
That's not realistic. Charlotte's not going to let them. That organization is a complete dumpster fire. Like, I don't think they're ever going to be good, man. God, that organization is awful.
I mean, that's the first name that came to my mind was LaMelo Ball. You know, I thought about maybe De'Aaron Fox just got traded, so
all the best point guards, why would their teams let them go?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what they need, why would I let them go? Yeah, I don't see Trae Young. Maybe Trae Young requests a trade.
A Trae Young and Kyrie Irving backcourt would be
diabolical. It would be diabolical. But
that would be a sight to behold. Not in a good way. Would you trade for Drew Holiday?
Drew Holiday and Kyrie could work.
Yeah.
That could work.
Could.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, well, things to do this weekend, ladies and gents. First on the docket for all unsigned seniors, rising seniors, make sure you guys, if you're trying to play basketball, that is, anyway, make sure you guys contact Virginia Peninsula Community College. They're having a basketball prospect camp this Saturday, 11 to 1 p.m. All the information is there. I'll be reposting this all over social media as well. That's for Saturday. Sunday, Brotherhood Hoop League. Sunday morning, games start at 10 a.m. at the prestigious and historic Hampton High School, 1491 West King Street. Kings versus Bullies, Elite versus Dream Team, Villains versus X2G, which is the game of the week, and Jelly versus Mentality. What game are you most excited to see, Stat?
Interestingly enough, I'm both interested to see if the Bullies are going to move their winning streak to 4 games, like mentality, actually.
Yeah.
Both
The teams that was getting their brains kicked in the beginning of the year are now turning things around.
They are. Listen, y'all, the Brotherhood Hoop League is that's the league that me, Stretch, Damo, Katie, John, D Knight, we all own that. Please come out there and support us. Like, Shanda ain't gonna be there giving out her dating advice. So you should feel comfortable coming in the door, just enjoying the game. $3 admission, kids under 12 are free.
Yep.
Good basketball, and it's all about family and fellowship. So, we really appreciate if y'all come out. What game are you looking at? I ain't asked what game.
I'm actually looking at the Elite versus Dream Team. Dream Team has won. Well, they won last week, but Elite has lost 2 in a row.
Yep.
So, their 13-game winning streak came to an end. Might have been 14 games, but whatever it was, it came to an end a couple weeks ago, and now they're heading in the other direction. So it'll be interesting to see if they respond. And Dream Team now, they got a little momentum. So, yeah, I mean, things are tightening up, man, as we head towards the playoffs in the Brotherhood Hoop League. So for the kids that are trying to get better, Handle Guru Coach Leo is having his all handles dribbling clinic Sunday, May 25th, 2025, 2 to 4 p.m. You go to the CoachStretch.com website and register and get all your information for that. And beginning in June, Relentless Sports is having their June skill clinic, June 1st through to June 22nd, which will be 4 Sundays. First Baptist Church, Denby. Elementary and middle school at 2 o'clock, high school at 3 o'clock. Again, you can go to CoachStretch.com to register for that. And while you are there, if you want some merch, some Relentless Sports merch, there it is. We got Team Relentless gear, t-shirts for sale. We are Relentless. All that is for sale. And again, you go to CoachStretch.com and purchase you a t-shirt. Stats, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here, boss?
Don't ever let a woman tell you,
oh boy,
your ass of a woman is too much.
Oh my God. She's definitely gonna come see you about that.
Yeah.
She is definitely gonna come see you.
Don't let it, men, we are the prize.
Oh my God.
No, I'm playing. But for real, there's certain things, gentlemen, we don't compromise on. Don't bend on, and this ain't got nothing to do with Shanda. This is just in general. Like, don't bend on what your asks are. Don't bend on it. If it's a core value to you, don't bend on it. Same for the ladies too. Same for the ladies. If it's a core value, don't bend on it.
Okay. I'm with it. Any final words, shout outs before we get out of here, Stats?
Great show. Thank you so much, Shanda. Greatly appreciated you coming up here. Stretch, it's always good to talk to you.
Always.
By the way, I also do life insurance.
There we go, Stats. And matter of fact, next week, Stats, we'll have a flyer up here or ways that people can contact you if they're looking for life insurance.
Yes.
And we'll get people started sending people your way. Hey, listen, folks, y'all need to get take your life insurance seriously, man. Like tomorrow, I hate to say this, but tomorrow's not promised. And you gotta definitely be prepared for your family's sake anyway.
Yeah. Just inbox me and I'll help get you right. So
yeah, we gotta get you a QR code or something, big dog. So for Statman AJT, I'm Coach Stretch. Again, big thank you to Coach Shanda Bailey for coming on.
Thank you, Shanda.
Hopefully we'll have another Diddy update next week. And we'll have some new contestants on Fraud Alert. We might have another guest up here next week. I know a couple people that are running for city office had inquired about doing some interviews. So, hey, look, we're going to keep you informed and entertained the best way we can. For Statman AJT, I'm Coach Stretch. Thank you for viewing the Coach Stretch Show. Stay relentless in all that you do. We out of here. Peace.
You can shake up the scene, you ain't getting streams. I make it look good, yeah, I make it look easy. I let it be, I'm a better me. I don't really care, been like this for years. Cause I don't really, never did, never will. Ever let you get inside the whip. Catch us hitting sideways, sliding around with a drip for that mango. Tangos couldn't get a pick. I be quick, I be slick when I push for 'em whip. I be zoning with my shit.